Well, actually, I'm a computer geek. I graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in computer science. So, and that was in Texas. I went to Texas A&M University. And when I graduated, I was one of the few folks that was willing to leave Texas. So I got a job with IBM in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Of course, I had no idea where Gaithersburg was, but I found out really quickly. And that brought me up to the Maryland area, and I worked for IBM for a number of years doing consulting with manufacturing clients. I'm also a mother of two, which is actually what launched me into entrepreneurship. I was working for IBM, and I loved my job. I was a consultant, but I was traveling about 75% of the time, which when you're first out of college is great, but as you start to have a family, it gets a little more difficult. My daughter was 6 months old, and IBM put me on a local project in Philadelphia. I live in Montgomery County. Philadelphia is not really local to me, and I needed to be there Sunday night through Thursday night, 3 weeks out of 4, and I just couldn't do it. I said, I can't do that. That's just too much time away. My daughter was 6 months old, and I really didn't want to raise her from a hotel room. So I left IBM, and honestly, before I left, I interviewed a lot of places, and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to go. I knew I needed flexibility, and I kept playing with the idea of starting my own company. But no, I can't do that. So I'd go back and I'd interview again, and I'd say, well, why can't I do that? And I was talking to some friends, and I actually talked to a client of mine, and he looked at me and he said, I'd hire you hypothetically as a client, as a consultant. And that's really what kind of made me say, what have I got to lose? If it doesn't work out, I'll just go out and get a real job. And little did I know that having my own business would actually be the most real job I ever had. Well, when I first started my company, it was just me in my basement, and it took a little while to get used to working from home. Those people that think, oh, it's great, you work in your pajamas all day, and you do your laundry while you're working. It's not that easy. It's a lot harder than that. And so it took me probably about 9 months to getting used to working out of my house. And I tried some different things in the beginning. I did do IT consulting, so I did some design and some programming work on my own. And I even tried selling children's software. This was back in 1995 when software was really just starting to come out. I wrote my own software for my daughter. I called it Banging Babies, where she could bang on the keyboard, and it would different pictures and songs and things would happen as a result. And so I dabbled a lot. I even tried creating my own geek squad. I was my own geek squad, what they call it now. I would go into people's homes and help them figure out how to use their computers. But this was really, I was before my time, because this was before everybody really had computers in their house, and the internet was not as pervasive. We were all on dial-up. It was either AOL or Prodigy. So the opportunities there were limited. About 2 years into I still called it self-employment because it was still just me, my client started having more opportunities for work than I could really do on my own. So I had a relationship with a woman that I'd worked with at IBM, and she had been out. She had just had a son, and she had been out on a leave of absence, but she was really itching to get back into work. So I said, well, why don't you come and contract, just be hourly with me? And she did that about the same time that my husband decided he was tired with his engineering job and wanted a change. So he came to work with me at the same time, and they fight over who was employee number 2 and number 3. And from there, the opportunities with this client, they saw that I was willing to grow my business. And they were building 2 new manufacturing facilities, one in Europe and one in Ohio. And because I had been working with them for so long and I knew their operations really well, they asked me to grow my business, to develop a production and warehousing system that they could then roll out to both their 2 new facilities and then their 4 other facilities domestically. So I was very fortunate in that I had a customer that funded development of software, which was a barcoded inventory control software, that we were then retained the ownership of that and sold it to other clients.